What's up guys, Ben here bringing you another video today. Finally, after a couple weeks off of Call of Duty, we have matches starting on Friday. Week 1 of the Major 4 qualifiers is about to begin. This is a crucial period for pretty much every team in the league. There's about 7 teams that already have their champ spots locked in essentially. They're fighting for seeding. The 8th spot, which is really coming down to Rocker, Florida, Vegas, maybe even London if they somehow get in the mix, LAG. That one will be decided over the next like 8 to 10 weeks. So let's dive in with our week 1 predictions. This is always tricky. So let's take a look at the matches we have on offer Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So before we begin this, week 1 is always a tough week to predict when it comes to the CDL. I think we've gotten to the point in the season that still many of the teams in the league are very competitive, and there could be a decent amount of upsets week 1. When I talk to players and teams, they always mention that these matches can be difficult because it's been a couple of weeks off. It takes a map or two to really get into the intensity, the level of attention to detail, attention to comms required to win some of these matches. On top of that, obviously, we need to discuss the fact that we're playing online COD with sound EQ. So the game's going to play a little bit different than LAN. It's going to be harder to make plays because, well, people, I wouldn't say are cheating, but there's a lack of sportsmanship there. So anyway, let's dive in. All right, let's start off with the first match of the week. That is the Vegas Legion versus Boston. Let's see where people have this at. They have it pretty even. Boston's won the last couple of matches. This one's interesting. Boston is very strong when it comes to online Call of Duty. The record, I think, is what, like 9-5 or 9-4, something like that this season. Vegas, not so much, but Vegas is playing with a new player. I expect this, I think, to be a 3-1. I want to pick the upset, but if Vegas was playing any other team than Boston, but Boston's just so comfortable in this online setting, and I can see Vegas winning like a random S&D in this, but I need to see more from Vegas with a standing pickup if I'm going to pick them over a team like Boston in his first matchup. We keep it moving and grooving. We got London versus the LA Thieves, and as much as I like potentially this new London team, I have a difficulty because I think I want to pick Thieves over Seattle, and I really don't want to pick Thieves to go 0-2 this week. But I think this one could be closer than the money has it. 75-92, I think is kind of unfair. The last 5 times the teams have played is 3-0s. I'm going to give London a map, but I think Thieves is going to win this one 3-1. I'll give London like map 1 or something, like a hard point. We do need to pick an upset on day 1. I'm going to actually go with this one. We got FaZe versus New York. And last time these two teams played, it was really close. And as much as I like FaZe, and I think their chances to split when it comes to potentially improvements in respawn, I think New York's got a lot to prove this stage. And I think they're going to come out with a lot of passion. So I'm going to pick the upset there. I'm not super confident in that, though, to be honest. I really don't want to pick chalk all on day 1, and I might. Let's do it. You know what? We should do what the heart says. We're picking no upsets. I got FaZe last map against New York. It's going to be a heater, but I can't pick New York to win in game 5. So there you go. I'm picking chalk day 1. Next up, we've got 2 matches that we played in Madison, Wisconsin. The 2 Rocker matches, a Toronto Boston game and a Seattle Thieves. So pretty much Saturday on offer should be a pretty good set. First off, we got Rocker versus Florida. I think this one is pretty split, and a lot of people are probably leaning towards Florida. I'm going to go with Rocker in this one because of the travel situation, because of the crowd, and because of the changes. But I will actually make this a last map. I think Florida is going to challenge them and be competitive, but Rocker is going to run with it on game 5 and finally win a search. It's been a minute for them. This one's a really awesome match. Toronto versus Boston. Both teams playing particularly good when it comes to online Call of Duty. I would love to pick Boston in this one, but I think Toronto is just too strong. I think this one could be a last mapper, though. It really depends, I think, on how Boston looks on maps like Hotel in this series. If they can, I see it go in game 5, but I just trust Toronto in a game 5 more coming off their victory at the last major. All right, we got Rocker versus LAG, and honestly, if Rocker wins that first match, I think they walk over LAG, who's been sitting there all day, having really no one to scrim. So I think Rocker take this 3-0, especially if they win the first match. If they don't, though, I can see this one being kind of mixy. So just keep that in mind. And next up, we've got Seattle versus LA Thieves to close out this day. And this is an awesome match. It's hard to predict this one. And unfortunately, I got to go against the Thieves. I just think that when it comes to how the map set may break out, I just can't trust Thieves if Asilo makes it in this map pool. They just cannot be trusted to win that map. I think Seattle just looks a little bit better in search. I think they got a little bit unlucky They lost the event with their draw. I just think they're a team that's in more form right now, and I'm going to take them based on that. But I can see this match swinging ending either way if one of these teams has an off day. All right, we got the last day here coming up. Let's start with Seattle versus Toronto. And wow, this is an absolute heater. But a lot of people are in on Toronto, which is surprising to me because I think this matchup is a little bit closer than it may seem. And I think I'm going to give Toronto it in the game 5. I like Seattle's ability to match up on really any respawn map against this Toronto team. But I just think Ultra, in the same issue that Seattle had against FaZe recently, I just trust Toronto in the game 5 more. And you guys know my metric on that. But this one can go either way. I could see Seattle being 2-0 after this week, to be honest. And then we got Optic versus London, and the only match for Optic this week. And this is another game 5er. You're sensing a theme here. I'm feeling a lot of game 5s this week. Optic been pretty good in game 5, so I'm going to go with them on that. But London, the last 2 times they played Optic, especially at the major, they were very competitive, and I don't expect that to be any different in the situation. I could also definitely see London taking this with Optic having to wait all week to play this match. I feel like teams that get put in this one Sunday match combo, like it's just really dangerous because everybody else has gotten reps in and you're just been a little bit ice cold. So Optic fans, if you lose this, I wouldn't freak out too much. It's just a product of the schedule. And then we got FaZe versus Florida. And to be honest, I don't see really a path forward for Florida in this one. I'll give them one map because I think FaZe will probably maybe try out Hydro against Florida or something. And I'll give them one or maybe a control. But I think FaZe should just class them out and get it done. And so they'll go 2-0 this week. Who do I have going? I got Toronto 2-0. I got FaZe 2-0. Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, a pretty solid schedule. I think, though, that week 1 is always hard to predict when it comes to matches. I don't feel super confident in that. I'll feel much better when we go into week 2 and I kind of assess the form of some of these teams. It's just hard to know with the layoff that teams that play like once this week might get upset. Like New York and Optic are just tricky. And then we have these Seattle toss-ups that are really hard. Toronto has 2 difficult series this week. So, you never know. All right, let me know in the prediction what you guys think of the video and my picks in general. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more. We'll be back after this week with our tier list and some more reaction from the first week of matches. So stick around for that. And as always, guys, we will see you on the next video.